Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a first look at Mythic Cal, who is going to be the event character attached to the upcoming Guardian Kal event. On the right hand side we can see he is a range character. He is specifically an alert character, and I don't think we've ever had an alert Cal in the game, or any even range character that's had been a Cal in the game. We've always had strong characters and the infamous fast Cal, as we all know, that everyone probably had like 400 at one point. But like visually he looks kind of cool. I don't think we've ever had one with only one arm either. Someone, again, correct me if I'm wrong on any of these guys. I like the dust the jacket is, looking a bit messed up though, but he has got like these blades attached to the arm. Just got to keep that defensive option in. Those walkers getting up too close and personal, they're gonna get those knives to the eyes. Basically, it's not gonna be pretty. If we look on the left hand side, we can see his art is looking pretty cool here, and he has got someone with him as well. I'm not sure who that is. Anyone will be able to tell me? We'll probably find out in the Guardian Kal event as we check out his stats. As a grade 5 level 600 mythic character, he is going to have 14,394 attack, 13,160 defense, and 13,571 HP. He is that alert character, like I said. He is a support character, a mythic character, of course, and he is going to be the 6th character to join the ranks of the allegiance of knights. We have already got Mercer, Herschel, Wayland, Aaron, and Darius as the knights, and I mean, a lot of people have been working towards these characters already, and this is going to be the 6th one, so potentially there could be a Knight Mythic Trials on the way. Now we'll move on to looking at his adrenaline rush and the rest of his kit. In the intro, I always check out the stats before they are limit broken, but in the actual kit itself, we're checking out the full limit broken kit in terms of what it can bring to the table, in terms of how many turns something has, how powerful it is, and so on and so forth. I'll tell you which parts are the limit break bonuses after I show how the skills work, as always. But this rush is called Medal of Valor. It's a 66 AP cost rush. Up to 2 enemies get crosshairs for 3 turns, deal 450% damage to a single enemy. Now, I actually kind of like this. The way it goes, in the order it goes, should be that the character that he focuses gets crosshairs, and then he deals the damage to them afterwards, and if they get taken out, they should be decapped. So this is almost a guaranteed decap character on the rush, as long as he takes the character out and as long as they don't resist crosshairs. Some characters do have base crosshairs resist. I think there's at least one or two. And if you were going to use him in something like Conquest, there's always the potential that they'd be using crosshairs resist there as well. Okay, so it's the rush turn, and this is where we can see the order of how that rush works. It should work the way I think it should work, right? It should work the way I think it should work. We've got someone on low HP here. It is Doc Stevens. If we do decap Doc Stevens, he will not proc his Halo. We'll come in with the rush. Big hit. Does take him out. Does it decap him? It does. So the crosshairs does indeed come in first, and then the follow-up damage comes in afterwards. And you can see there is one other character with crosshairs on her. It's going to be Alice in the middle. But one of those 2 crosshairs for 3 turns went to Doc Stevens and took him out. So it's really nice the way they've ordered this in terms of the potential for that decap. And I think he's going to be extremely useful against some particular characters. You know, Dr. Stevens, for instance, he's going to be a nice counter to Dr. Stevens. If you do not have Michonne in your team, you will have to go for attack versus fast to really get the best out of it, just because obviously Michonne gets that naturally because she is a strong character. But Kal here could be pretty decent, I think, on an attack team for those sort of pesky revive characters, and like with Halo, and also just pesky teams that you want to keep down. The crosshairs does definitely help quite a lot, and a lot of teams are going to have Erica soon, so there's going to be a lot more potential for revives off turn 3 and 4 with her signature moves, so that is really nice. If we look at the upgrade slots here, you can see it at grade 2 it gets 200% damage, so massive damage boost off of grade 2, but that's not going to be too hard to come by. At grade 4 it gets 1 crosshairs target, so initially it would only just be the target that you attack, but this is like a bonus target. And then this is where the limit break comes in, and it's actually a pretty good limit break. The crosshairs duration gets extended by 1 turn. That's actually pretty nice. I think that's pretty good. The only other way it could have been good would be like another crosshairs target again, but I think crosshairs duration being an extra turn is really nice. It does also mean that, let's say he does attack a character, and he, like I took out Doc Stevens there, but let's say I attacked Doc Stevens and Doc Stevens just had 5 HP left. The bonus of Crosshairs always is that any damage that I do afterwards would still be a decap. That's always been the biggest bonus of Crosshairs. And I think any Crosshairs that last a long time is extremely powerful. I think certain ways that Crosshairs is actually more powerful than decap itself. So I like this rush quite a lot. I think it's quite useful. You're going to have to make him quite offensive to really get the best out of him doing huge amounts of damage, but he doesn't necessarily have to. Like I said, he could just be the follow-up damage afterwards is what gets the decap for you. So we'll check out the rest of his kit, and he has got a signature move, of course. It is called Purple Heart. It has got an initial cooldown of turn 2, cooldown of 1 turn, number of uses unlimited. Make a critical attack against one enemy, stun the enemy for 1 turn. So a little bit to break down here. The 2-turn initial cooldown is nice. It just means in the first 2 turns he's going to get that initial 35 AP from doing this as well. So that's going to help towards gaining AP for the attack team. And his rush was 66 AP, so he will need that boost for an attack team. On a defense team, he still will need it, but it won't be as terrible because he won't need any extra AP from elsewhere. The cooldown of 1 turn doesn't really make too much of a difference. It only makes a difference if his rush is controlled in any way. Then he's going to be doing this every other turn. The critical attack coming before the stun does mean that he could potentially be controlled. If they've got like stun on defense or anything like that, or impair on defense, that could potentially actually work against him. If the stun happened first, obviously that would nullify any weapon effects, but there would be passives in there, so characters like Connor and Razzo would still have the chance to proc their passives. But I like this quite a lot. It reminds me of the one from Mirabelle, and obviously he is part of the event called Guardian Kal, so it isn't too much of a surprise that, you know, his specialist skill is Guardian. You can see it already, but that means it's going to be a guaranteed proc of his specialist skill, and it would be a guaranteed proc of anything else that you could get, like if there was a potential weapon that came out in the future. We have seen some weapons in the past where it's been like, if the character crits on the 3rd slot, I think it was an attached weapon on Dylan, it actually did a splash damage, and they could potentially release weapons like that in the future, and that would be kind of fun and good in Cal's hands. Okay, so this is just the end of the first turn, and it's just to show you he does get 30 AP from his first basic attack. We're just going to finish my turn. As long as he doesn't get attacked, you know, it's just a confirmation, further confirmation on how it works with the AP gain stuff. And I can say, hey, I want to take out Doc Stevens. I just want him to be stunned. We'll see he's going to be at 65 AP. It's a guaranteed crit comes in, so the Guardian Shield comes in because of his specialist skill. But you can see he's just a little bit short on the AP. He will need an 8% weapon, as all 66 AP characters need, unless they get attacked off the first 2 turns. For instance, Aiko did get attacked, so she's going to get her rush naturally because she's 66. And you know, there are characters that can give AP bonuses. For instance, Glenn, if he crits, that's the way it always goes. But that's how the signature move works with the stun and the guaranteed crit. I think you guys kind of would figure out how that would work. But like I said, if it happened the other way around, if Doc Stevens had an absolute defense weapon, the crit can potentially get blocked in that situation. And don't forget that if you are doing this against tanks, they can potentially have up to 40% resist to crits, and that would just make the crit guaranteed here just a normal basic attack. So you just got to be wary on who you attack. Those guaranteed crits or skills that rely on crits now are not as powerful due to all these tanks everywhere, nullifying the potential of crit attacks, which is obviously going to be quite frustrating long term. We'll check out the upgrades, you know, of this. It's grade 3. It gets -1 cooldown, so the cooldown goes from 2 to 1. So not really that big a deal, but the grade 5 will be required to get that starting cooldown to turn 2, and that is extremely important to get 2 of this character from the upcoming event. We'll have to see how that's going to work, but without it getting to grade 5, he's not going to be able to have a good chance of getting that 3rd turn rush in on an attack team, to be honest, and it loses a lot of power, so you definitely need to try and get your hands on the grade 5 character if you can. Now, I don't think this is a spectacular signature move. I actually still think it's pretty decent. It works in with the rest of his kit quite nicely. A guaranteed critical hit can still hit for a lot of damage depending on how you get this character out. But I don't believe there are any weapons right now that rely on crits for alert characters. It isn't like a rampage weapon on a tough character where that would guarantee a rampage, which is what it does on Mirabelle. On Kal, it is just going to guarantee the crit potential and the high damage along with that, and obviously the proc of his specialist skill, and that is it. Now, Kal, of course, does have some mythic abilities. These are his passives. He has got Cunning because he is a support character, And obviously he can get up to Cunning 2, which will make it 30% less likely to trigger enemy weapon effects. This does seem to be a little bit buggy, honestly. The wording is a bit off. I think a lot of people assume that it would work, you know, basically giving you 30% resist or 30% less chance for it to proc when it does proc, but it seems to be like a flat reduction, which is like seems very powerful because that would be 95% reduction. But yeah, it's kind of weird, the wording here. The next one is called Military Expertise. He has got a 35% critical damage multiplier. That's going to work with that signature move, and it's going to work with his basic attacks, but it will not work with his rush, because his rush, while it is single target, it cannot crit, so he's not going to get any bonuses there. When attacking targets with the crosshair status, he gets 30% attack. That is tactical precision, and that should work with his rush, because it should go down first. The crosshairs will go down first. We'll test it out to see if the wording comes out to say, you know, tactical precision, see if it's actually going to give the bonuses there. The last one is called A Hero's Death. When this character dies, 20% chance all teammates get a Guardian Shield. That is pretty cool in a way, and I think he has got some viability on a defense team just based on the rest of his kit, because, you know, he's going to be giving out Guardian Shields. He's going to be, you know, guaranteeing, you know, takedowns. I think his rush is almost a guaranteed takedown, especially if he gets the 30% attack boost from that rush based on the crosshairs going first. We'll have to check that out. And obviously, Guardian Shields are just annoying. Guardian Shields are just annoying on defense teams. It's just as simple as that. They have been my nemesis for quite a long time. But we'll check out and see if the crosshairs on the rush gives the bonus to tactical precision because it comes in first or not. Okay, so just keep an eye on the bottom left-hand corner on Kal's avatar. If the tactical precision actually does come in, it should say in green text above his name when we do the rush. And it doesn't look like it does, but it should. It's hard to know. I mean, the crosshairs definitely comes in. Then the full 50% definitely comes in. But it doesn't look like it's taking advantage of that passive, which I think it should, realistically. Let's have a little defend, and I'll attack the other character with crosshairs to see if it does the pop-up. It might not do the pop-up. It might just be that I thought it would do the pop-up. Who's got it? It's Erica down the bottom. She has got absolute defense weapon, so she could block this. But we're going to do the attack. Just check then above his name. 30% attack. You just saw it say 30% attack. So I'm not sure. Maybe it only works with basic attacks. We can check this out with Michonne in the team, and let's see if it works that way, because Michonne has a turn 2 crosshairs herself. Okay, so here we are off of turn 2. I have put some mods on one of these characters. I'm hoping I don't take them out with Michonne. Michonne does hit extremely hard, to be honest. We're going to just use Michonne's signature move, and that is going to be a guaranteed crosshairs on the character, as you can see. And now let's see if the 30% attack bonus comes in on the rush. Let's have a little check. It doesn't actually come in when crosshairs is on there in the first place. That is interesting. So there's no 30% boost for his rush damage, which is weird because I don't think the wording makes it sound like that, to be honest. And if we check the wording again, it is this third one, tactical precision. It says when attacking targets with crosshair status, 30% attack, and I would assume that would work with the rush as well, right? It wouldn't just be basic attacks and signature moves, which have like on hit effects. I would have thought that would work with the rush. In my mind, that should work with the rush. Just my opinion. We'll look at the upgrades on this character. Grade 1, this is Military Expertise. This is where 20% of that critical multiplier comes in, if you want to upgrade that. Cunning comes in at grade 2. That Tactical Precision comes in at grade 3. And I would have said that is a really good one to have if it did work with the rush. But if it doesn't, I don't know how useful that is. I don't even know how useful the critical damage multiplier is going to be realistically. A Hero's Death, when this character dies, 20% chance all teammates get Guardian Shield. That is the grade 5. So, yeah, I'd say that's probably the best one if you did want to use him on a defense team, obviously. The other ones are just kind of little bonuses. I guess the critical damage multiplier is going to make that turn 2 signature move just amplified. There's nothing too spectacular outside of Cunning and a Hero's Death. I think Cunning is probably the best one. It is the most annoying, and it seems to be kind of unbalanced the way it works currently. If it is working as intended again, like I said before, Cunning doesn't seem to work as most people would assume it would. So I would say they're more the priorities to upgrade it if you did want to go in on this guy with military supplies. Now, of course, Kal does have a specialist ability, and it is Guardian 2. We've seen those procking around. I'll just read through it. When this character performs a critical attack on an enemy, they will apply a damage-negating shield on 2 allies with the lowest HP. The shield will remain active until it negates 1 incoming source of damage from another combatant. Maximum 2 specialist applied shields per turn. That does mean you can't use 2 Guardian 2s in the same team and have them both hit crits and then do 4 Guardian shields, but let's say one does crit and the other one doesn't, then at least you sort of got a cover in those situations. And some, you know, it's hard to build crit on Guardian shields who are on defense teams, but I personally, I wouldn't bother with 2 Guardian shields on the defense team and just see it as more of a bonus. That's how Guardian shields work. You guys know how it works. Now, Kal does have an attached weapon. It is Kal's violent sword-off shotgun. If we saw it in the clips before, it didn't look very sword-off. It looks so massive still. I wouldn't want to use that with one arm. Not at all. The kick on that is going to be brutal. I mean, the kick on anything with one arm is going to be brutal. But yeah, that is still a massive shotgun. If we look at the stats, 25% attack, a medium bonus to AP when attacking, bonus attack, 45% attack when attacking enemies of more than 50% HP. Now, it is a 5-star weapon here, but I had to 5-star it to put an actual weapon in his hands that I could use to show how the AP gain side of things worked, because obviously it's not going to work here. I don't think you need to keep anything on this base weapon, so this should be pretty much an instant 5-star and get a good working attack team weapon in his hands on an attack team, and on a defense team, you know, a good working defense team weapon. It does look nice, and I think if you fully upgrade it, it probably will go gold like it is on the left-hand side. But like most of the Mythic characters' weapons, it is more of a visual thing than a power thing. So that, guys, is Mythic Cal. He is going to be that character coming in up in the next event. I think he seems actually pretty decent. I think he's going to be definitely usable on some attack teams. I think he's going to have potential on maybe on some defense teams, just for the fact that he is a support character. He has got reasonable stat balance for defense. He hasn't got like 11k, 12k HP on defense off start. He's got, you know, 13.5, which is not terrible. He's not going to be able to get the same sort of numbers as other characters, but it's still going to be pretty high. He is an alert character, so he can have stun on defense weapons. You could potentially give him the absolute defense weapon if you have that rolling around. So he definitely has some usability on both sides of the field. And like I said, Conquest, those Guardian shields can be very, very nice as well. I think he's actually pretty good. I think he's one of the better free-to-play characters. He's definitely better than Bruce. I'd say he's probably on par with Ico in terms of usability, in terms of just like being a decent character. And he's you know, coming up in the event. We'll see how easy it is to come by the 2, because I do think you need to get 2 of him to get him to like reasonable strength, just because of the signature move and being required to be grade 5 to get to turn 2 on that. So we'll see what happens there. Do give me your thoughts though in the comments down below on Mythic Cal. Is he the kind of character that you want to get your hands on? He is the 6th knight. That is the only bit that was a bit surprising for me, but I don't think it's a terrible thing that they start putting more characters into certain allegiances, because otherwise they're going to just buff out allegiances too much too early. And, you know, I can kind of understand it personally. I can kind of understand it. There could be potential in the future where you are required a very specific knight character, or, you know, a specific trio of knight characters, for instance. You never know. But we'll see what happens. And if you don't have 5 knights already, this is going to be very useful for you for that allegiance. So, happy days. That is the end of my video, though, guys. Like I said, if you do have any thoughts, leave them in the comments down below. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.